Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here, once again to do another Star Wars Skeleton Crew review, episode 4, which I believe is you can't. I don't recall At-Atten. Yep. Oh no, wait. I can't say I remember At-Atten. Sorry. Is the catchphrase in which SM33 has been saying throughout the episodes that we have gotten to know him, and we'll see. This will be a very focal point in the episode. So, yeah, just a little quick intro and recap. Let's see. We thought this episode continues off from last week's episode where which I'm reviewing. Let's see. I will admit, I forgot I should mention I'm reviewing this episode now on the day of the release because one reason or another, I've got an opportunity to do it today. Normally, I wouldn't have time to do it today, but I've managed to get the time, and I figured it's best to try and get this review done as soon as I can because next week will be Christmas, so I'll be a bit too busy to try and actually review this episode. So yeah, I'm going to try and watch this episode, so review this episode now and get out of the way. But anyway, back to the recap. This episode follows up from last time where Judd, or Crimson Jack, if you will, ends up helping the kids escape the pirate ship against Brutus and his wolf pack, if you will. His pirate gang, if you will. And then him pushing a bounty on them. Some of the kids trust them, particularly the boys, but the girls do not trust him. So they end up going to a friend of his called Kim, sort of owl lady that has the coordinates to that can help them find the coordinates at Anne, but she does not trust Crimson Jack and tells the kids that, and ends up trying to get the New Republic to arrest him. They escape, but the kids get him to confess that he's not a Jedi. So let's see how that dynamic works out. But yeah, they escape, and the Republic forces end up asking Kim where they're going, which it says you wouldn't believe me if I told you, as they're seemingly trying to now follow the coordinates that Kim has managed to put in. What are those? Let's see. Will they actually reach out? Well, I'm about to start that with the summary of the actual episode. So yeah. The episode sort of begins on when they're flying towards what appears to be an empty satellite, if you will, and the hold on a sec. Let me just actually present. Let's see the ship, which well, I suppose I haven't really given too much of a whoops. There we go. Yeah, they're on the Onyx cruise ship, which I will admit I think is quite the Star Wars. I think the ship does quite fit into the Star Wars design, if you will. But yeah, they're pretty much flying on their ship. They seemingly the kids seem to recognize the planet as their own, which Jord, or Crimson Jack, if you will, gets excited that they end up about to land. But as SM3 is trying to pilot the ship down, they get some sort of autopilot that gets them, resulting in to be forced to landing in a certain area. The kids sort of look around, and they conclude that this episode, this planet is not their home world. So the kids decide to investigate, leaving with Fern ordering SM33 to sort of babysit or keep an eye on Crimson Jack, which SM33 mocks as like babysitting. They explore the planet a bit, and they see a bit of a war-torn world and all that, and they notice a statue. They notice how very similar it looks like. They even go to one of the houses where they see a tree growing in. So, which gets them to conclude that this is one of the other planets that they have been to, and I believe this planet is one of the Lost Jewels of Republic, and this planet is actually at Aachen, I believe. So it seems to be completely like the but completely destroyed by Ravage, but appears to be like sort of some sort of apocalypse. In many ways, it kind of looks. Let's see, since let's see, and looks more a bit like the suburban areas of America. It looks like one of those apocalypse games in America, if you will. So yeah. So you've got that, but anyway, they end up exploring, and let's see, the kids end up after finding a headless statue of what they assumed possibly could be their leader. They get ambushed by a bunch of kids. One of them is this one here, Hannah, who's wearing a sort of amateurish Mando helmet and looks like a sort of like pretty much a full blown like soldier you might have seen in like maybe the Rebel Alliance, if you will. But yeah, let's see, warning them that they are being let's see, that they're asking like which faction of flag or tribe or clan, if you will, belong to. Which they end up just trying to introduce themselves at their names and that they're off-world, realizing that they're not from other tribes. Takes them to warn them about an enemy tribe that has come by, which a group of adult thugs, which you get the funny line of thinking that, okay, is this a war between kids versus adult, which to be honest, no matter how skilled kids would be, I think in real life they would probably all get slaughtered if it was kids versus adults. Anyway, they got a bunch of tanks that kind of remind me of the droid tanks you see in the sort of like, let's see, Phantom Menace. No, it doesn't really have one of these cannon things. Instead, it has sort of blasters on the side and a bit crimson red, which did get me. Which I wonder if that was the purpose of getting me thinking nostalgia, thinking of those tanks, but also being something new at the same time. And apparently, this tribe has been stealing Hannah's sort of like herd of like these sort of like I guess you could say cow or cat things that remind me of these camel EPI that you see in the prequel trilogy and Obi-Wan Kenobi's and just any Tatooine post post Phantom Menace, where they sort of ride as camels, but they look kind of like these, but more like a bigger, and they seem to be the sort of cattle that give some sort of like sort of green milk supply for, or some liquid supply for like her tribe. But yeah, so you kind of got that. So she ends up taking them to like their leader. Meanwhile, you have Jode and SM-33, if you will, Crimson Jack looking around the kids' stuff, noticing the sort of hollow of the holiday special dance performance you saw from the first episode, and then finding Wim's Republic credits gold. But gets ambushed by SM-33 for stealing and all that stuff. But he reminds him that no, it's me, Judd, and all that stuff, which gets SM-33 to think about is faulty programming. Judge or Crimson Jack trying to offer him to help him fix his memory about Adam, but this is where you kind of get the hint that SM-33 is saying the lines you can't say at Atom a bit too much, which also fits with the episode, so it's making you think, okay, why does he keep saying that phrase, if you will? So he tries to look into it to program him, but this scene's of course cut short as then they eventually as he gets him walking down, and they get ambushed by the enemy tribe of like the one that Hannah's group belongs to, which he just Jack just says, "Oh, just shoot me if you're going to do so," but that is cut short, and we won't see them until a bit later. But in the meantime, you get the kids along with this Hannah. Hannah girl to meet her father, the leader of her tribe, General Strix, who was leading his group to fight this other tribe group to get resources and to get their sort of herd back, if you will. recruits the kids to become like forces after learning their names, and let's see, and calling Fern the captain as she introduces herself to that, thinking that okay, we'll see what you got if you want to go to this sort of like I believe it is a hold on, let me just I believe it is a sort of what they call it, the let's see, I believe the Fallen Sanctum, which has possibly the data and info where the kids are looking to get to their home world, if you will. So they let's see. So they pretty much hold on a sec. So it pretty much gets them to like practice training, which you see Wim, Fern, and KB being, let's see, enthusiastic for like the training bit and shooting, particularly Wim. Though KB seems to be exceptionally good when you see the training thing, but let's see, Bitsy, happy, peace, lovable Dork Neil here doesn't really like to do fighting and thinks that he would be too much of a hindrance. But Hannah seems to think that he's a bit smart and much smarter than his friends of being reckless and charging into fights, thinking they don't really stand a chance. Ends up showing them the top of like their sort of like where everyone is sheltering and feeding their food, where Neil does the sort of nice thing of giving his rations to a bunch of 2 starving kids. And this is where you get Hannah and Neil here. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Neil here having a bit of a one-to-one chat, if you will, which Neil, while admits that, talks about how peaceful his planet is, where like this other building where his parents work and all that stuff. You get like Hannah saying how his tribe seems to be weak, which Neil says that, yeah, but admits it's peaceful. We're only talking about how he's only ever really been in a fight with his younger brother, but end up losing that fight for some reason, showing just kind of how just a bit of much of a softy Neil is. But you can clearly tell that the two are sort of bonding, if you will. And let's see, you can tell that Hannah at least seems to maybe even open up to the idea of maybe Neil talking about how best not to fight, and he would talk about, I would just say sorry. But anyway, after a bit of shooting, let's see, there was a funny moment with Wim going too bit hard with a big blaster, shooting too further away than he probably shooting with a bigger blast that he cannot really hold. General Strick says that they are ready to lead them into the next battle. Fern, of course, doesn't really want to do that with her kids, but they have pretty much been forced on the matter, in which he's saying, you lot are pretty much doing this one way or another, otherwise you get shot. And during which you see them in the front, and KB tries to suggest, which I think rather stupidly, let's see, saying how they should try and escape from the crossfire, but they are right in front of the other, let's see, members of like this tribe, and it's like, we can hear you, right? Let's see, they first try to go into the battle, after no choice of going to the battle, but Neil, of course, is just too scared because he doesn't want to fight, which until Hannah then sort of volunteers to Etsy go along with them, Etsy, which gives Neil like the courage to be sort of brave, even though he's still terrified and thinks that this fighting is wrong. They end up accidentally, just as they're hearing noise, end up actually finding none other than their their sort of reluctant ally, Crimson Jack here, and with SM-33 and all the sort of stolen cattle that have been taken, in which it's revealed that Crimson Jack has pretty much done a deal with the other tribe with giving them the gold Republic credits to that he took from Wim some sock in exchange for like the cattle and giving them back, which they would probably use to buy supplies elsewhere, sort of preventing a battle, or at least for today, not happening. Now, who knows how it will continue. But this gets enough to like earn General Strix's respect, thanking him, offering what he wants, some weapons if they will. But he also asked requests for the kids. There's a little funny moment where he says, "Are you sure don't want one of our stronger warriors to escort?" And he says, "No, the kids are fine." Now, does tease them after a bit, even though they're worrying Neil, but he's like kidding. But I do have like a touching moment between him and Neil. Let's see, Jod and Neil, when I keep saying Jack and Jod. I apologize. I should really stick to one name. But pretty much having like hugging at first when they first reunite. But yeah. But anyway, you get Hannah sort of not that way. Hannah taking them to like the sanctuary, if you will, but take them to where the entrance is or just where the direction is, but will not go away because she still needs to go back and help someday lead her people. Neil tries to offer for her to come along, but she says that her home is here, not has to try and see this through to the end. But at least it's like Neil's weakness is actually his kindness. Kisses him on the cheek, and talks about how he hopes someday that this world can be more like what he's like. There can be some of his kindness for this world at some point when once becomes leader, if you will. Sort of like Neil getting a sort of like rubbing his cheek, and now probably getting a different crash compared to the one where he had with that what was it, that Vazoon sort of green furry goat, chibi goat like race. That's the best I can describe him. Let's see, I think I believe his crush was a member called Rona. Yeah, that was his crush. So that's what you got there. But anyway, they end up going to the kids end up going to the sanctuary, and they end up finding which they tell to Neil how we end up talking to, well, not Neil, I mean, sorry, Jack, if you will, about how this is where the supervisor would normally live. But anyway, they reach the top and they find the sort of empty sort of like hallway room, but they find coordinates on like the support beams, if you will, of like the other sort of lost jewel worlds. They try to find that Am, only for like the coordinates for Am to be destroyed, and it's revealed that none other than SM-33 here destroyed it on orders from the previous captain. This, of course, causes Fern to have a bit of a breakdown and Wim to try and have a one-to-one with her, which KB in the meantime tries to sort out. Fixing his SM3's memory, though Jod is does not believe it could happen since he already tried. You get like a sort of like this touching one-to-one where you see where Fern starts to admit that she's in over her head, doesn't think she can do the captain. Maybe Wim should be, but Wim thinks that they've only made it this far, because of her, and they even managed to survive a battlefield, but she sort of blames that kind of thing. And at this point, she's got them stuck here. But after a little talk about, how she's not a droid, and a bit of an argument, where it looks like she's getting angry. It's like something that Wim said that made her think, okay, I'm not a droid, and then realizes like her, program of a nanny droid of how she can override command, goes to SM-33 and says that now I'm your captain, override whatever it is you're told to conceal. Can't say I remember a thing of that Am, because he kept saying that and it kept annoying her. And then SM-33 actor, he remembers everything, how his captain took them to this planet before. They found the coordinates. His captain brutally killed the other members of the crew, and his captain gave an order that if anyone tried to snoop in and find out Am, he was to rip them from limb, remembering his command, overriding his sort of command that Fern now has, despite her best efforts. Tries to kill her in the group, but Neil tries to throw rocks at SM33 distracting, saying, leave them alone, in which SM3 in his most menacing sort of march goes towards Neil, about to destroy him, but let's see, Crimson Jack, manages to get behind and turn off SM33, in which it says, telling the kids, that's always where you go for the off switch, with setting down SM33, with the kids complimenting Neil before he sort of faints, and that sort of ends like the episode, if you will. Anyway, I suppose it's time for my overall thoughts on the episodes, thoughts on the episode, and the characters. I think it's pretty clear to anyone here that the main MVP point of this episode is Neil. It's pretty much you see him talking about bonding with Hannah and talking about how his peaceful life on the planet, how he doesn't really like fighting, how you can see he's just such a big softy, if you will, that the only time he's actually gone to fight, of course, it's like it was his brother, which it's hilarious that he lost because he's the oldest sibling. But yeah, he doesn't really want to fight, and if it was up to him, he would just try and find the peace in the ideal way he knows how. In many ways, it's kind of like how a kid, like a young kid that doesn't really understand fighting and war and just wants to have like a peaceful coexistence with everyone. He doesn't want to fight and all that stuff, but yeah. But let's see, to his credit, he seems to have gained the affections of a girl, which I assume now that he no longer has a crush on Rona, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Whether or not he ever comes back to this world to pursue a relationship with Hannah, I do not know. But I don't know. Let's see. That might be going to overthinking some shippy things. Which, to be fair, these are all kids. They're all technically too young to have like romance. But I don't know. You could probably, I guess, you could see maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if you get a bunch of fanfics down the line where they're older and then they reunite or something. At least that's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see that. You're probably going to have someone writing that down, or I've at least given them ideas. If that's the case, I apologize. But yeah, he's definitely the main MVP point, and I do like how you see his kindness throughout the episode. Trying to think of like, okay, can't we just like not fight, try and get along, and also him giving his rations to those kids. I think that is definitely a nice thing. And he really has a nice moment of courage when he's standing up to like SM33. SM33 when he's about to go all kill mode on on our cast of characters here. Let's see. I'll say amongst the kids that's most disappointing for me is KB. On one hand, you got some cool. You see that she's a quite skilled blaster fighter from the weapons they do have, but well, granted, those weapons end up being faulty and failing Crimson Jack just the moment when SM goes on his rampage. But let's see. I feel like she had the dumbest moment and fairly out of character moment of like. Saying, planning, we should plan our escape from like these guys the moment the fighting starts, because like you're literally saying that when every one of the adult tribesmen are warriors are around you, they can hear you. They even say that, and it's like they even point out, if you try to run away, we'll blast you. In many ways, that is like she is being very, very stupid here. It's like, I can understand kids not having the smartest plans, but I figured she'd be smart enough at the very least. I think she'd at least be the one that'd be smart enough to say, okay, to try and secretly whisper, hey, let's try and get out of here and making sure no one hurts. Honestly, this is this kind of level of stupidity I expect from Wim. I did not expect KB to be... doing this kind of stupid thing. But other than that, I'd say she's fine for the rest of the episode. Doesn't get much of a spotlight. She still remains to be the character we see the least. But I definitely say of all the episodes, this is the worst one for her so far. Anyway, let's see. Fern and Wim aren't really the sort of focus. Don't really get much of the focus in the episode, except for maybe a few moments where Fern is acting as a authority as captain, telling SM3 to like stay on the ship to guard Jod. Crimson Jack, and pointing out she's the captain to like the tribesmen that she meets, and trying to be the one to like say we don't really want to do the fighting in the battlefield, so yeah. So that ends up happening there. But it's mainly her main point is towards the end of the episode, where after being frustrated by SM33's constant can't say no at Atom, and this no at Atom, you get her, and then learning that he'd actually destroyed the coordinates, she just kind of has this breakdown, and you get this like really nice bonding moment between these two characters. These two characters have literally been at odds with each other since the first episode, clashing about who gets the lead, who has claimsies, if you will, whose fault is that they're stuck here, all that kind of stuff. You can just tell that these two are like sort of hating each other, sort of like how I guess you could say like an idiot with a tsundere, if you will, if you're going by Japanese archetypes, or even like main male character, main female character bickering that might or might not go to romance. I'll get to that a bit, but I do like how at this point Fern is just after thinking finally they find a way home, only for it to be completely robbed. She breaks down and doesn't think she's got it in her, and even perhaps at this point thinks, you know what, maybe Wim would have been a better captain. But I do like how Wim, despite the fact that probably an episode or two ago would have said that I'm the captain, I would be better. Seems to have this sort of mature moment, and I argue this is the most mature moment here in trying to suggest that actually I think you are probably the one that should be captain. You've given us this far. It's like, and probably even admits that he'd be terrible for captain. Heck, even see that earlier he's like a bit sad that it seemingly that the adventure is like over, but even getting a bit immature of like trying to use a bigger blaster, if you will. So but here this moment realizes that Fern needs like encouragement and tries his best. Granted, he might have said something a bit wrong towards the end with that whole let's see about how she should lead us, which gets her to think of the droid thing, but which I do like how she ends up thinking, figuring out the whole SM33 has probably got some sort of override programming, like a nanny droid, if you will. So I do like that. Anyway, I'm gonna focus now on the two new characters that we have. The first one I'll go with is Hannah, who is sort of like sharing the spotlight with Neil for the most of this episode, if you will. Hold on. So, this character here. I will admit, it's quite. I think she does her role quite well as like this sort of like kid who has kid from a war-torn world that has never really seen peace. And it kind of reminds me of like Doflamingo's speech of kids who have never seen war and kids who have never known peace. So you kind of got like her sort of you can show that she's quite the competent, being the daughter of the general leader of her tribe and the next in line if her father falls. You can clear that she's been training her entire life. She's ready for like the moment her father steps down, but in the same time you can kind of see it's kind of messed up. And it's like I do like how she sees how she sort of ends up bonding with like the most pacifist character with Neon and all that stuff. doesn't really actually completely condemn him. Says like, "You're weakling, you're Ritzy, you will die first. You're Ritzy, pathetic," kind of thing. Instead, just listens to him as he talks about his world, talks about how, oh, that building there, my parents would work. This would be a school. Let's see. I would lose a fight to my brother. I'd rather we just get along. She listens to like what he has to say, talks about his world, and let's see. For a kid that's grown up in a war-torn world, sort of sees the value of peace, and even thinks that perhaps one day she can try and do it herself. So I do like that, and I like that she tries to encourage Neil when he's too afraid to be in the battle, realizing that he needs someone to at least come and look out for him when they're about to probably go into a battle zone. I definitely think that she did her role well as a sort of like worn-torn tough girl that befriends the lovable dork, if you will, in the episode. So yeah, I think that she's pretty good for a one-off character. Anyway, there's not really much to say on her father, who has a few roles, but I will admit he definitely gives the vibes of a tough war veteran that has gone through it all and willing to do whatever it is to put for the safety of his tribe. Now, granted, it is kind of messed up that he believes that let's see, children and adults are equal here, which on one hand, I don't mind. It's probably on one hand you could say there's a sort of positive thing of like adults giving kids an opportunity to learn to grow up. Arguably, that would not be for war, if you will, and it's kind of messed up that he would have his children fight. But granted, arguably, you could say the circumstances of his planet has forced him to do this for like their kids. So you can kind of see how his point of view is, but it is kind of messed up that he is kind of like a sort of closest thing you can have to sort of like an antagonist, let's see, if you will, where he's forcing the kids that if you want to go to Sanctuary, you help us in like this fighting, training them a bit to get prepared to fight, and using them as pretty much frontline cannon fodder, if you will. But it does seem to have a bit of an honorable side of where he is willing to let them go after Crimson Jack, let's see, returns their cattle. So there is that. But arguably, let's see, you can probably say he's like a sort of decent post-apocalypse war leader, but kind of a messed up individual of sending kids to war. Arguably not someone I would hope anyone would like to see imitate. Anyway, coming back to like now the other two characters that we want to talk about. Arguably, let's see, Crimson Jack doesn't really get much to do in this episode, if you will. Let me just there we go. Let's see, except for like maybe the beginning, middle, and end, if you will, where he is pretty much you can really tell his excitement of finally getting to add Adam and trying to finally get those Republic credits and all that stuff. But then when I realize it's not the planet, he gets stuck in babysitting. I do like how annoyed being babysitted by SM-33 gets annoyed. And yeah, it would make sense he would try to snoop around looking for like anything of value he could on the ship, finding the credits, which I'm curious to see how that will lead to conflict with Wim and Crimson Jack. Granted, Jack later. Granted, he said he didn't give them all of them, but he did point out they were used to save his life. But yeah, I do like how he's trying to like just get more answers out of, let's see, SM-33, but seems to cannot do. And he has like probably the funniest line, says, "Just shoot me now." Once he's surrounded, it's like been all through this, only to be surrounded by a bunch of let's see, warrior tribesmen, if you will. But let's see, I'm a little disappointed that off screen that we didn't really actually get to see him making, let's see, bonding with this other tribe. I thought we would have been like, granted, if perhaps there's a long episode, we get their point of view, and then he talks to them and see how he interacts with them, and maybe, I don't know, find a compromise between the two tribes. But no, he seems to have an off-screen moment of making a deal to get the cow back and preventing conflict that way, if you will. But I don't know. But yeah, But I do like how he seems to be a bit of a sort of acting like a sort of protective guardian of allowing Neil to hug him, and even says, "I'm joking." It's he shaking the head when he says, "Like, okay, it's he, you want to trade the kids for like some other guys?" But it's like that kind of like sort of humor I like. And I do like how he's like ready to try and be protective of the kids after SM-33 is about to go into kill mode, trying to get their sort of weapons that they got from the tribesmen, only for them to be faulty, but quickly goes in to do the off switch. So I do like that. Anyway, now for like the other character, which arguably, let me see if I can. Yeah, okay, that would be close enough. SM-33. We finally get a sort of in many ways, probably should have noticed that when it says when his catchphrase "can't say I recall" at Atom is pretty much tied to the episode. You hear him say it a lot. Let's see, that ends up being like the focal plot. That this is going to end up being those words being a focal plot point of this episode. So yeah. I do like how he's like is acting like the sort of babysitter to like Crimson Jack and even mocking him for it. Granted, I do like how it seems that his faulty program is finally taking effect when he seems to think Jod is being a thief, even though technically he was, but calms down when Jod or Crimson Jack reminds him of his name. And we hear him just keeps repeating the words, and it's like, okay, you're going on and on again about this, but then it's appointed that, of course, Fern realizes that, okay, this must be a sort of override thing, and I do like how we end up seeing his sort of like programming and how his programming of his old captain takes over, about how he has actually been on this world, adding more mystery that, okay, his pirate crew was here before, and this is probably the route of how they got to Atam in the first place, in which then was ordered to kill anyone who tries to find out Atom, and it's like, shows that his programming from his first captain overrides whatever program he gets from his new captain. I will admit, he looks pretty much like a menacing, deadly droid. It's like, you can for a brief moment, you can see like the sort of danger that the kids are in, and even though you're pointing out that these kids are not going to be killed, you just wonder for a second: is one of them going to be like? Is one of them going to die, if you will, or at least get very injured? But luckily, Neil stepped in. Now, granted, I don't think this is the end of this character. I think SM-33 is still going to be around for the rest of the show, but it's clear that the kids and Crimson Jack need to find a way to reprogram him to try and not follow that captain, his original captain's orders, in order to eliminate anyone for Adam, because arguably he does seem to know the coordinates and he's their best way of getting through, which makes me think that the next episode will probably be they go to try and find some sort of droid reprogrammer to try and get rid of those previous commands. That's arguably what I'm thinking of this. Anyway, I'm just going to briefly talk about sort of like the plots and themes, if you will. Plots and themes of this episode. Pretty much this episode's plot with you think at first you're going to maybe right back at Adam, which I will admit I was a bit worried that this seems a bit way too soon. I figured at least you wait for like the 7th episode, then they return or something, at least a few more episodes on adventure. In many ways, I kind of shared Wim's opinion about, it's just getting fun. But luckily, you can clearly tell when as we get more closer to the surface and the whole autopilot thing, that something's not right, and you see the misty sort of like, and this is a war-torn world, which basically seems to be exploring a sort of post-apocalypse war-torn world in Star Wars. Arguably, Star Wars, you deal with war, but I think we haven't really, as far as I can recall, seen a Star Wars planet Ak Aaron, I believe this one is again, is sort of like a world that seems to have gone through an apocalypse. Civilization has collapsed, and now you've got tribesmen fighting each other. You haven't really had that type of planet in Star Wars, if you will. And I really do like how they seem to build the themes of like how you have different tribes fighting each other for land, for air, land, control of the planet, resources, food supply, that kind of thing, with particularly with the stealing of the cattle. So you have that. You also have like the sort of theme of child soldiers, if you will, where kids in a sort of war-torn world are forced to fight, which is, you can think, is messed up. In many ways, like I said earlier, it reminds me of the Doflamingo speech of kids who've never seen war and kids have known peace. Let's see, the kids from Alan, of course, they have only ever known the peaceful life of A'an, while the kids on this planet have only ever known like the horrors of war, if you will. And you can kind of see like the sort of conflicting ideologies a bit with like the most peaceful one, Neo, with like the upcoming leader with Haina. So I do like that, but I do like how you get like these different perspectives of with them, and even like both of them kind of admitting that let's see, okay, you know what, let's see, I might be wrong and like try, like I might not be able to like settle the conflict peacefully of just saying can't we all just get along kind of thing, and or just trying to make a peace if like if the other side isn't willing to do so. But yeah, and also the more worn-torn kid is like you know what, perhaps we could have some more kindness and peace in this world. And it's like let's see, the planet is still pretty much a post-apocalyptic world that's still fighting each other. But after one, let's see, Haina, who's going to lead the next generation, has interacted with this these kids from a more peaceful world, particularly Neil. Perhaps she can try and find a way to try and get a more peaceful civilization once they sort out like whatever conflict they're going through. But who knows? So but yeah, I really like the sort of like those themes. Granted, I will admit, I think one thing that probably would have made this episode better is if we had perhaps another 10 minutes of perhaps Jode and SM33 interacting with this other tribe. We only really get one tribe's side of the story. Perhaps it could have been a very good opportunity for an episode to have a cast of characters separated. One learns this perspective of this tribe and take their side, and one learns the perspective of the other tribe takes their side. The two tribes fight for a bit, and the cast of characters are mixed up before realizing, okay, this is going too far. We've got to try and find a way to sort this. And they find a way to reach a peace between the two tribes. Granted, but I suppose on one hand, there is some merit of like, even though, let's see, the Britzy conflict for now is settled, it's still an ongoing conflict down the line, and it'll take a lot more effort to work here. And the fact that what Neil has taught Haina is just the small first step along the way of trying to make a more peaceful world, if you will. So, yeah. Other than that, the mystery gets a bit more intriguing, where it seems like all these Republic dual worlds are very identical. They seem to all be designed the way, but let's see, but not all of them seem to be destroyed in the way of Alderaan, and just seems like some of them might just be war-torn apocalypse kind of situations. Who knows? But let's see, at the very least, you could assume that at least some of the other planets are not completely erased, if you will. But it seems like there's some darker tones of like, okay, they're all being designed to be the same, and there's clearly something messed up about, let's see, 9 different planets being exactly alike. It seems to be some sort of like a messed up kind of like colonization thing where everyone is being the same, even though these planets might have been a bit more unique before whatever they became the jewels of the Republic, but Old Republic, if you will. But yeah, but there's also like the mystery of like how SM33's pirate crew clearly been here before. They like they did all the journey to try and get to and they was probably the first pirate crew to do so, but they end up again destroyed. And his previous captain was so greedy that he tried to make sure that no one would let's see, get to the coordinates and ordering SM33 to destroy the coordinates, as well as destroy anyone who tried to find the planet, even after he was dead, to the point that he would try to kill his new captain. Granted, I will admit I was expecting a sort of turn against again. Let's see, SM33 against the kids. Though, granted, I figured it would be the way it would be more on the lines of like, oh, you didn't actually kill and replace my captain. You're just lying to me, kind of thing. But no, it seems to be more of like a sort of override program thing. So it's a lot different than I expected, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a very bad thing. In fact, it might lead to an interesting next plot line where they try and reprogram SM33, because there's no way they're not keeping this droid, because they're getting this droid because it's their best shot of getting back home, like I said. Anyway, overall thoughts. I thought this episode was a very good fourth episode. I think the episodes are still remaining consistent in quality because, let's see, and this is where most people seem to think that the Star Wars show starts to go downhill in quality. But no, I'd say 4 episodes in and they're all pretty good. Well, admit, I can't tell if this episode is better than last week's episode. I mean, overall, I think there are better themes in this episode, but there's one very stupid character moment with KB. And I do think there was one bit of the conflict between the two tribes was a bit halted to a bit, but I guess it's probably good that the kids aren't really in a battlefield. They still get to have a sense of innocence of not actually being in a battlefield, despite being very close to being in one. So I suppose there's that. But also I like the sort of character that Neo got throughout the episode, especially with the bonding of this one-off character, Haina, and sort of character moment between Wim and Fern, if you will, towards the end, and also sort of like the mystery surrounding SM33 and his captain's orders about At-Aten. So yeah, and the mystery of like all these planets being these Jewels of the Republic being similar. So yeah, I'd probably say this episode is probably an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9, but I guess it depends. I don't know. I assume that. But I guess it depends on how I feel about like the sort of more if I watch it again, I guess, and if I feel like the themes and the issues and the characterizations tackle more positives of like this episode, tackle more of like the issues I've had with this episode with KB and perhaps the abrupt end to like a conflict between the two tribes, at least for the time being. But yeah, overall, that's my thoughts. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope you all enjoyed. Let's see my thoughts of this episode. And I will see you all next time when I review the next episode. Probably at some point after Christmas, hopefully, and before the next one at least, because I like to try and review these episodes before next ones. But yeah, overall, I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thanks for listening in. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Goodbye, everyone. May the Force be with you.